Hey guys, MaliciousCompliance here, and today I am back for day number 14 of r/MaliciousCompliance. I actually already recorded it, but my mic was not plugged in, so here we go again. Day 14 once again. So I'm gonna do the exact same stories because I did read them out, but the audio didn't record. First up is here is your 0% idle time. I work for a company that provides a utility truck, and one of the analytics they monitor is how long the truck stays in place with the motor on. The target number was something like 3%. I was consistently stuck in traffic due to my area being changed to the downtown area of my city, and naturally raising my idle percent. My supervisor began constantly badgering me over the rise of my idle percent, about 10 to 12% higher now. After they decided to give me a written verbal warning, I became the most efficient truck no idler in our branch, and I brought it down to a 0.00 by shutting the truck off at every stop sign, every red light, every highway stop in traffic, even in drive-thrus, and instantly off when I got to where I was going. Now remember that this is a utility truck that is charging my 2 phones, my laptop, my tablet, my various equipment, rechargeable batteries, all this juice sucking and no alternator spinning, putting the power back into the truck battery, causing it to die a lot. Now the rules, the company had made it forbidden for me to jump the truck myself. So I had to call the company. They sent out a tow truck to jumpstart it for me. I could do it myself anyway, and probably would have, but they are writing people up out here for petty shit. And every time I call this tow truck, it takes a minimum of 2 hours for it to show up. I began doing this multiple times a day. Every day until they figured my truck was broken. It goes to the shop, checks out, they give it back. I kill it again. They end up giving me an entirely new truck. I start killing that one too. I repeated this process until they gave me the 3rd truck, and the manager calls me to ask what my daily routine is. I go through the basics and add in the whole stop at the red light, engine off, stop in traffic, engine off, and dude goes, "Why the fuck are you doing this?" My supervisor wrote me up for my idle time being too high. This is completely ridiculous. He tossed my write-up, and I'm guessing talked to the supervisor because I never heard a word about idle time again, and I quit caring about it. There's my dumb, petty story. Thanks for reading. It's just like, oh, pulling up to the stop sign, engine off. Every time, it's just like, whoops, there's a momentary slowdown in traffic. Turn engine off. It's like, oh, there's all this traffic ahead. I might as well just shut the engine off and be like, yeah, I'm good. Next up is, no, I am checking your heart. I was a medic in Salt Lake for a few years. One rainy day, my partner and I got dispatched to a fairly upscale neighborhood on the call of chest pain. Chest pain means flashing lights and sirens. We quickly arrived in front of a pretty nice house and found a woman standing at the curb with 2 suitcases packed. Already a red flag. I shut down the siren but keep the lights going for safety. We ask if she called 911 and she confirms. She steps into the ambulance, sits on the bench, and asks us to get going. I tell her we need to do a full checkup before we leave, so we can provide care en route and take her to the right facility. She says she doesn't really have chest pain. She has a procedure scheduled at the hospital, and she wants me to turn off the lights so her neighbors don't notice and ask her questions. Obviously, this is EMS abuse, so I tell her so. Suddenly, her chest pain's back. Go figure. So I say I need to get vitals and start an ECG. She protests again, mentioning the start time for her appointment in less than 30 minutes. So I ask her point blank, do you need medical attention? Or do we need the police? I proceed to do a full checkup in front of her house, taking my sweet ass time, asking enough questions to make her eyes roll, and leaving the strobe lights on the whole time so the neighbours would see. And she was late to her appointment because we admitted her to the hospital through the ER instead of the front doors. Fuck you, woman! Calling an ambulance and lying about chest pain. Just so you can get to your appointment without traffic. Like, really? Take the damn traffic, be a bit late, and still have your procedure. Some people. Last one I have. The $15,000 equipment is too expensive for our department to purchase. Why don't you just rent it for $48,000 a year? That math does not add up. Back in the days when 33.6 kbps modems were hot shit, I worked for the engineering department of a growing company. This company had started small, it was privately owned, and the VPs had all put in a portion of their own money to start the company. By this time in the story, they were finally making a respectable 30 to 40 million a year in profits. But they still acted like a small company. Penny pinching. Our engineering department was designing circuit boards with embedded computer systems. And to program these, instead of soldering the microcomputer to the board, we would solder on a microcontroller socket and then plug in an in-circuit emulator that would pretend it was a microcontroller and allowed the programmer to create the required program. This in-circuit emulator, or ICE, was made by Hitachi. Hitachi? That sounds wrong. Hitachi. It plugged into a free PCI slot on your PC and had a ribbon cable that would attach to the specialized microcontroller die that plugged into the socket. It was a mess. It gave our IT department headaches, and it cost $15,000. And it was an absolute necessity for most of our most popular product lines. And there was only one of them. And we were renting it. It cost $4,000 a month. The first month we had it, our CTO and marketing VP planned a whole new product line around this family of microcontrollers. So at the end of the month, us engineers asked management to buy this for us, since we would be using it for a while. The engineering VP saw the price tag and told us just to rent it. Surely we'll be done with it soon. Engineers, being practical, forgot about the objection and just put our noses to the wheel. The CTO and marketing made plans to keep us busy using this microcontroller line for a while. They pre-ordered a few million chips. That's a lot of chips. After a year, the VP of Finance asked about this recurring contract line item. They called the engineer who had originally started the contract. The engineer helpfully forwarded the approval from the engineering VP and his later email asking to buy it, and the VP's reply where he demurred. By the end of the week, this toy was ours, along with a second one, because Finance determined that product rollout was being affected by not enough access to the equipment. Hitachi gave us the first one, stopped charging us, and never asked for it back. We paid $15,000 for a second one. No one got fired or demoted, but in the next department meeting, the engineering VP tried to tell us that we didn't have enough money to upgrade our PCs. That one engineer spoke up with $40,000 cover it. The company found the money. Like, yes, rent it for $4,000 a month, or just pay $15,000 once and keep it forever. I really want to go with the rent. It'll just end up costing more than it cost to pay for it in 4 months. Really. It's like, It's 4,000 a month. That's 1,000 a week. So 15 weeks, you've paid the equivalent of just buying it. And by the end of the 4th month, you've paid more in rent than in buying. It's just dumb. In the end, you're gonna have a cheap situation. Or because no one could do basic mathematics and multiply by 12 for the 4,000. Some people are absolute idiots. But I'm going to be ending this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and my second channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. Ding, ding. Links also on the screen to the playlist and the previous video. I'm the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.